Hello Saberform, this is E-Rock here, coming back with another technical video of fun little projects that I like to do with my sabers. You know me. Anyway, well, it occurred to me, my son's switch here on his prophecy is red. And my Overlord's was blue, is blue. The thing is, my Padawan saber is blue and his switch is red. And
your last name is Phalix.
Phalix?
His last name is Phalix.
Phalix? No, it is not. Do you even know what that word means? He just called you Felix Phalix. What do you think of that, fool? Anyway, so, yeah, I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the red switch from the Prophecy and the blue switch from the Overlord and swap them. Now, before I even dared do this, what I did first and foremost was I emailed Ultrasabers and asked Emery, well, this is after I took the Overlord apart, actually. I could not for the life of me find any resistors down by the buck puck. I saw the wires join into the leads to the switch and everything and all that jazz and cool stuff, but I could not find where the resistor was. One of the leads up top here on the heat shrink has a little bit of a bigger bulge. I suspected something, so I emailed Emery just to confirm, and yes, ladies and gentlemen of Ultrasabers, you can take a switch, mark the wires, cut them, and literally just swap them. The resistor that is needed for the LED not to burn out was put right here on the lead for the switch, the proper one, by Ultrasabers. That makes these switches more or less modular, if you really think about it. You just have to cut some wires and do some soldering and heat shrink. Well, we got the heat shrink, we have the solder, we have the soldering iron. But unfortunately, these wires' colors and these wires' colors were different. Not a problem. Yeah, I thought, oh God, not again. No problem. On the switch, there is a dot. The reference point. That's how you count where the pins start. So what I've done is I followed the wires, and using my painter's electrical tape, which I use everything for, I numbered the wires. 1, 2, 3. The fourth one doesn't need one because it's the fourth wire. It's unlabeled. I'll remember that. So, the plan, we're going to snip here, we're going to snip here, swap, resolder them together, heat shrink them. I'm going to use my Teflon tape switch wedge to get it back in. Oh yeah, getting the switch out, I also destroyed the shim. The shim spacer. So what I found out was this switch actually fits a little bit more deeply in the hilt, and it actually fits flush with the hilt, which I actually far prefer. The bezel here does make the switch stick out well as thick as the bezel is, but when that flat plate rests right up against the hilt, my goodness, it was magic. To me, that was my personal opinion. So, I'm just going to get my soldering iron heated up, get everything I need here, and I will restart the video when that is the case. I guess what I'm going to do is just, right for the video, I'm just going to snip the wires. Nobody really wants to see me sit there and strip the ends of the wires, get them ready and all that jazz. So what I'm going to do is I'll get that done off camera, and I'll come back when I have both switches in my hand. Right. Be right back. Alright, and so what I've done, I've got all the wires stripped, I have everything stripped, I have my 4 pieces of heat shrink. Now it's time to start twisting the wires together, soldering them, folding them back and trimming them, and then heat shrinking them. Just get her done. So, got the first joint made, and what I'm going to do, whoa, easy. Gotta watch that, and pass over some heat shrink here. The first transport is away! Yay! Okay, so just doing the last bit of heat shrink here. There we go. Now what I'll do is I'll just remove my little flags here on the switch. Okay. The flags were a good idea. Excuse me, labeling the wires like I did. So what I've done is remove the last flag here. Now I have to go upstairs and get my Teflon tape, but before I, wire the switch and put everything back and away and find out it doesn't work, what we do now is we test it. Yes, sir. We make sure everything is good to go. I'm just gonna stuff everything back in just temporarily here. There we go. So just a temporary switch placement, just to show you. And complete success. Thanks. Blue Prophecy, blue AV switch. So I'll get that back in the hilt here. Cool. So I'll go get the Teflon tape, get this switch back in the hilt, and show you what she looks like when she's done. Okay, so I just noticed before I stuffed it back in, the blue switch was actually turning off and on, and the blade was staying on, but the light here was turning off and on. So I slid it back out and looked, and I had actually broken the pin off of the resistor off of the switch lead. So basically the resistor and the wire were one unit, but they were no longer touching the pin on the switch. So I had to fix that. And I did. I just soldered it back in place. I actually put some electrical tape around the lead, and then heat shrunk it as best as I could, and that resistor did not budge once again from that pin. So be aware, guys, that might happen. You might separate the pin or one of the leads from the switches, and then it's a little bit more of a challenge to get it back together, but it is not impossible by any stretch of any imagination. So just something you need to be aware of. But I got it, and my Padawan's prophecy is where it should be. Let's get this Overlord done, and I'll show you both. Well, the prophecy was completed to my satisfaction, and well, I literally just did the same thing with the Overlord, guys. I just chopped all 4 wires off, stripped them, soldered them together, and put heat shrink over them. And I put my Teflon tape, these 1/2-inch thread seal tape, for yeah, look at that, 69 cents, guys. Wow, that's what you're in for if you want to fix your switch. And not use that high temperature thermal adhesive that Ultrasabers uses. Somebody told me what it was. It's like the Gorilla Glue of hot glue. It's like the best hot glue you can get. It is hot glue, but it's the best you can get, and Ultrasabers cannot be faulted nor shamed for using such a high quality product. I don't have that, so I have to use Teflon thread seal tape. But man, oh man, do I really like what it looks like when the switches correspond to the blades. They don't rattle, they don't budge. You can see a little bit of the scratching. You see what I did there? That's from a drop, 10 push-ups, and I did scratch the hilt. So I did use masking tape, but I had to pry it a little too hard. These switches were, well, this switch here was incredibly difficult to remove because of that awesome job Ultrasabers did securing it to the hilt. So it wasn't easy, guys, but this was if you can get the switches out, it's an easy job. So that is returning the colors of the switches to their proper hilts due to an oversight when I ordered them a long time ago. My opinion now is that when you buy a saber, if you do get the same color switch as you do the blade, the effect is much better than getting a switch that has a different color than your blade. Now I'll swap out the I'll swap out anything in this now, and it's going to be red, so that's okay. But the Overlord, I intended for its main color to be red, so a red switch is appropriate. My Padawan loves his completely blue prophecy. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and if you do have any questions or wanted me to describe any of these processes a little bit more in detail, I can definitely do so in text below. So please do not spare your questions if you have any. And I thank you again for watching. May the Force be with you, and very, very, very happy sabering, guys.